G'day humans, Chris Stead from Fine here, talking NFT games, and today we're going to have a chat about a little developer that's crossed my path called Gallant Studios. Now this is a medieval themed studio slash publisher slash incubator slash NFT creator that's doing some pretty cool stuff. Now they've already got one game out called Gallant Warriors, which you can play right now, which isn't an NFT game. It's kind of a proof of concept that they can actually make and release a title. But they've got another 3 projects in production, which are all looking pretty promising indeed. So I've actually had a chat to the CEO, Stephen Walters, and I'm gonna break that conversation up into a couple of videos. So first I'm gonna take you through what I've learned about this token so far, the Gallant Token and the Gallant ecosystem that they're creating over there at Gallant Studios. And then I will run into a bit of an interview, the start of that interview with Stephen, and we'll have a chat about where he sees them going and what they're all about, and Gallant Warriors, the first game that's come out, and how that sits into their ecosystem. And then in separate videos, we're going to take a look into their big, exciting third-person RPG that they're working on called King's Calling. And they're also working on an MMORPG and an interesting NFT versus NFT fighting game called Gallant Arena. So we're going to go through all of them, probably going to break it up into 3 parts. So let's dive into part 1 and have a look at Gallant Studios. So as of the start of 2022, it's really early days for Gallant Studios. Now they've taken a kind of Bored Ape Yacht Club style approach to getting off and getting moving. They've developed 10,000 NFTs called the Gnarly Knights. They're all hand-drawn by artist and photographer Samantha Rivera, who I should mention is also as part of the interview that you'll get to watch a bit later on. And so they kind of got quite unique backgrounds and helmets, these 10,000 NFTs. Now they're not going to be kind of playing a part in any of the upcoming games specifically. They're kind of a profile for those who are involved in the ecosystem. However, they will be tied to airdrops and special functions within some of those titles, I believe. Now, we are unsure at this point, obviously, if there's much value in those NFTs just yet. It's, like I said, very early days for this company, but they certainly look cool enough, and look, Bored Ape Yacht Club went off doing exactly the same thing, so why not for these guys, right? So that's kind of where they're at the moment. They've just kind of got these NFTs that are available, and they're just starting to get into this game development of the next exciting titles. So one of the things I do really like about these guys, other than the fact they've actually got a name, I love when these developers actually have a name, it just gives it credibility for me. But on top of that, they've got a game out. So they've actually taken a game through the process of being developed and being published through the App Store and being deployed. Now, Gallant Warriors is the game. You can go pick it up right now and play it for yourself. It's available on mobiles. Look, it's basic. It's a very simple game. It reminds me of Golden Axe or Final Fight, one of those types of side scrollers, but you can move in and back while you're playing. And a couple of basic attacks. You can beat up the environment, beat up some bad dudes, move through a couple of environments. Look, it's all really, really simple stuff. But it kind of shows you that it's got some runs on the board, which I think is important when there's so much of this pie in the sky stuff that we're hearing about in the NFT gaming space. So that's what Gallant Warriors is, and we talk about a bit more about this in the interview actually. So I'll leave it to Stephen to tell you a little bit more. But look, jump on it and take a look for yourself and see how it goes. The one though that really got me excited as soon as I saw it was King's Calling. Now they've only released a hint of basically environment for you to see at the moment, and it's developed in Unity, and this will be the focus of our second video because I've got a whole bunch of footage to show you guys from what the game looks like inside. But it's actually looking like it's going to be a nice big 3D medieval world to kind of go through, kind of, on that Elder Scrolls tip, if you know what I mean. Like, it's medieval, right? We're talking Gnarly Knights here. And that's going to have like quests and stuff which are play to earn. So there's going to be in the play to earn mechanics. It's going to have collectible NFTs within the actual game itself as well. So that side of things is looking, what I've seen so far of that is a big step up from what we've seen with the Gallant Warriors kind of prototype, if you will. So that's, like, I hope they're not biting off more than they can chew, straight up. And they're planning to release it in 2022 as well, which is going to be a huge, huge call for them. But King's Calling is the one that's really kind of like made me go, ooh, I want to pay attention to these dudes and ladies. And then on top of that, they've also got an MMORPG coming out, and Gallant Arena, which is quite interesting. Now, what they are doing is they're doing a process whereby you have to be an investor in the ecosystem to be able to play these games. Well, that's at least the way that they're looking at approaching it right now. So you got to get some Gal Token in order to have, I guess, some skin in the game before you can play and become part of this community. Now, don't let that freak you out, because at the moment, Gal's like 0.0000 something cents. So it's quite easy to get into the ecosystem from a monetary spend. However, the process of actually getting the Gal's proving to be a little bit challenging at this point. It's on PancakeSwap and a few little places like that. So the actual, you're going to have to get it through Binance or whatever and do a couple of transfers in MetaMask and so forth to get across. I'll put that in the article that will end up on the fine.com.au website that you can go check out to find out how to do that. Anyway, I rattled on for a bit here, so that's a bit of an insight into my first impressions of Gallant Studios when I came across them. And like I said, I then reached out to the CEO, Stephen Walters, to find out if he wanted to have a chat and tell me a bit more, and he was more than willing to, so that's great. So let's dive in and hear what he's got to say about his studio, his upcoming games and his roadmap, and what's on the cards for this promising looking NFT game developer. So look, Gallant seems to be many things: an art collectible, a game studio, a publisher, an incubator. How would you sum up what Gallant is to a gamer?
We're a development studio that's creating and integrating blockchain mechanics with gamification. You know, a community of people from around the world and a brand.
And I heard you mentioned somewhere along the way that you were looking at being an incubator or publishing other people's games as well.
Absolutely, Chris. We have one game in particular in our repository as we speak. The gentleman that is working on our map building, he is a developer. He's a creator. But something that happens in the game development industry and in the early stages are someone may feel like their work isn't good. They may not have a community of people to critique it or give insight or feedback. And so we're in that area of understanding that, you know, there's plenty of people that create good stuff out there, but may not have the community or resources or courage to step out of their shell. And so by encouraging, you know, people to bring their ideas and collaborate, you know, understanding intellectual property and legalities and stuff, you know, that, you know, we're not going to take and produce something or steal someone's idea, but cohesively work together in a collaboration to produce it under our name, where they get full credit, right? You know, this is theirs, and they're a part of all the decision making and mechanic sides of it. But that's really the gist of it, Chris, is being able to get people's content out there and published. And as we develop and grow as a company, you know, we can create, you know, game offerings, you know, and stuff like that to help funding and things of that nature, raise capital for the different pieces of it. But to recap, you know, Anaris is a game that this gentleman has worked on for a little bit. It's a low poly style environment, really nice graphics. I can show you that as well. He shared with me some updates. I gave him some of the assets that we had, and he popped them into the game, and it really just kickstarted his desire and fire inside. He's like, man, you know, I haven't worked on this game, you know, in months, and now I've found myself sitting here for like 9 hours nonstop, just, you know, piecing and building more into it. So that was very exciting, as well as encouraging.
Yeah, you mentioned that putting it out, having a name for, and you know, a lot of the developers in the NFT game space are very invisible. Don't even have studio names in a lot of occasions. So, you know, what does it say about you guys that you've taken those steps to be, I guess, a public face and to have a Gallant Studios name?
Well, thank you, Chris. That actually, I'm humbled that you asked that. You know, we take it very serious, man. You know, we're not here to just shoot the breeze and pass by. You know, it's disheartening that, you know, you sometimes see some of these projects that doesn't have a docs team. Not that you have to docs yourselves, but it's really sad that you see these projects that spin up and they don't have a docs team. They don't really have a clear defined utility roadmap or in any way, shape, or form has taken steps to create validity for a long-term vision. But yet they're doing, millions and millions in market cap and this huge following, and people are just sitting there like little sheep waiting for the shepherd to come by and give them another piece. Whereas we're here on a daily, consistent basis, working on our brand awareness, and we haven't done the steps that some of these others have taken, which is paying tens of thousands of dollars to different influencers to say, hey, hype my project up. Alex Becker said it himself very well the other day, and it was basically regarding, I'm here to build the floor. I'm here to build the goal. The goal is to onboard and build solid games and stuff, regarding the blockchain ecosystem. It's not about the hype. I'm not here to pump your bag in a week. If you're here to commit and contribute, there's room for you here. But to answer your question in a holistic view, Chris, taking the steps, because we're more so focused on building a foundation and building the elements that will support our vision and goal, right? Opposed to putting the horse before the carriage before the horse, so to speak, And so we've tried to be strategic in making decisions to build the business and build the foundation from the legal standpoints, from the proprietary standpoints and things like that will give us, validation for investors, venture capitalists, or any average day person that wants to join our development.
Right. So we've got the NFTs that are coming out, the helmets and the backgrounds are looking great. Can you talk about how those are going to integrate with the upcoming Gallant games? I know there's a few in the pipeline. Are they going to be the NFTs that you take in, or are they more about the NFT that you've got as your profile in the Gallant ecosystem?
It's a good question as well, Chris. And so right off the bat, not outside of being a profile picture NFT, a unique piece of art, a one-of-one, but it's an automatic entry into everything that we do. That is your pass for Gallant. Every game that we produce, you will be automatically included into airdropped assets. Starting first with Gallant Arena, which is a NFT-based fighting game, where there's multiple character selections, armor, and things of that nature. So everyone will be entered to receive a free character. We have two different styles of characters, and I can go over that with you at another time. But basically, that will give you a free character asset for that. You'll also be included into monthly airdrops. We want to reward our holders for being excited about their profile picture, their Gnarly Knight, and so blockchain will take an export who all is holding at this specific time. We'll throw that into the random number generator, and we'll award some people some Gallant tokens. So you'll earn native token by holding the NFT. You'll get an asset for not only the upcoming game, but every game that we produce. Whether we say, okay, we're going to give away 100 million game tokens. All right, these are all going to go to these holders who's holding it. So you'll get some game tokens, or you might get an asset, you might get a sword, different things of that nature. So that's a portion of game integrations. And then of course, the meetups, when we have, esport tournament on site, we're holding at a convention or an expo somewhere. That's your ticket to be where we are and what we're doing.
So, I mean, obviously going through the site, came across Gallant Warriors, which is the product that you can actually play now. Look, it's perfectly functional. It's quite a simple game. Reminds me a lot of Golden Axe, actually, from back in the day. Can you talk me through the role and existence this game plays in your overall vision? Is it a bit of a proof of concept or proof of intent? From what I've seen from, say, King's Calling is quite a step up from Gallant Warriors.
It most definitely is, Chris, and thanks for recognizing that. And I would have to say that hands down, it's proof of intent. Without anything, we didn't anticipate for Gallant Warriors to be anything extravagant and magnificent. It was like, holy cow, this is the best game I've ever played. The goal was to show, look, we have a Apple developer account. So many projects out there. Oh, I'm going to launch a game in 2 weeks. I'm going to launch a game after we sell out. Do you have a developer's account? You have to have a business to have a developer's account. So it was more or less to say, this is because when you click on Gallant Warriors, when you go to the developer profile, it's going to take you straight to us, right? And so it was an opportunity to put something tangible in the hands of the community, and reward anyone who wants to battle for the leaderboard, and provide an incentive. So it's play to earn in a way, right? So we're covering that area, but seeing the excitement from the community. A lot of people are really happy about it, and I've got one person that's just like, as soon as he sees someone pass him on the leaderboard, he's got to go get it. Um, I mean, we've got some. You know how gamers are, man. They're very competitive. But to wrap this one is to say, it was nice to be able to have something go through the development stages. We go through the beta stage. We engage people in our community. It's like, all right, we're going to put you all in a group, drill the game, tell us what we need to fix, and allowing the people to be engaged was really nice. Listening to them and taking what they've decided and stated, and turn that back to the game devs and say, look, this is what we need to fix. By the way, there's an update coming. So there's going to be some aesthetic changes, some visual changes, stuff like that. So scoring changes as well. But Chris, that's not the end. Gallant Warriors, that's just the beginning for those guys. I see a lot of potential with it. The euphoria and the nostalgic emotions that come, because I loved Golden Axe, Chris. That was my favorite, dude. I mean, I could play it for hours. My brother used to hate me because he's older than I, and he would get tired of it before I would. But that was literally, it was Double Dragon and Golden Axe that really reminded me of Gallant Warriors. But there's a lot of potential there. Unity now has WebGL Web3, so we'll be able to make some changes, toss it into the Telegram world where everybody likes to play. So not getting too ahead and trying to do too much, but we have options and opportunities to transition this and expound it. I've already had a brainstorming session to kind of integrate it to blockchain with some nice little aesthetics and things to do in terms of kind of getting some rewards and rewarding the players. So stay tuned on that. I don't have everything outlined to give you a spiel on it, but to come back to your question, it was a proof of intent to show people, look, we're here, we're actually producing, we're doing work. Our market cap isn't $1 billion, but at the same time, we have transparency, dedication, and integrity, and that's our core values, and that's what we do on a routine basis.
Yeah, I'm really interested to hear you talk about just kind of the process of getting something up on the App Store. And I've released a few apps myself. It's never as easy as it sounds. A lot of the games I come across in the NFT game space, when you dig in, you have a look at the kind of management and the histories. There's no real successful deployments of games in a lot of those histories. No. Taking that game all the way through to an audience and a released product seems to be a lacking skill in a lot of the development teams that I've come across. So you've obviously got one out there now. How are you building a team that is familiar with that side, that kind of deployment and marketing of a game once it's actually out there?
Chris, that's another good one. We're constantly on the hunt. We don't stop with our planning for what we have currently going on, but we're in a constant open door recruiting stage. To look in the resources that's out there, to onboard people and expand our team, because any great game development studio has many moving parts, many internal and external employees, and so Chris, that's where we are. We're looking to onboard the resources to assist us in that capacity, because we can't do it alone, and we will need that help in order to reach that major audience that we want to absorb and welcome into our community.
And with the NFTs and how they get involved with your games, how is playing a Gallant game going to improve the value of that NFT? Not from just so much an investor's perspective, but just from the player's perspective. Like, how do you envisage these NFTs growing with the player as they play through the games in your ecosystem?
We're entertaining a couple different of ideas right now. Staking, of course, is something that will consistently be in an incentive. We were actually in discussions about that last night, earning not only from airdrops as a holder, but a potential staking pool where you'll consistently earn Gallant native token for staking your NFT. But in actual gameplay, because each game will have its own NFT assets, um, uh, having your Gnarly Knight hasn't been quote unquote tied to the various games to increase in value, so to speak. It would be more or less community and development as a whole, like the Gallant Token ecosystem would, I guess you could say, support and sustain the value of the NFT.
Right. So you're not building a ecosystem whereby your skin or your weapon that you're using in King's Calling may come across to Gallant Arena.
Oh
They're
well,
more separate entities.
we're looking at interoperability there, but I thought you meant regarding the Gnarly Knights.
Oh,
That's
right. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, the Gnarly Knights PFP is kind of like uh, a product of its own, and as we integrate into these other games here, that we were actually just in a meeting 3 nights ago discussing interoperability between Gallant Arena into King's Calling and onward. Because I personally, that's one of the big things that I like to see is that, okay, if I've spent this much money over here, that's the whole purpose of NFTs, right? And the ecosystem that we're trying to change in blockchain gaming is that this $500 that I've spent on Call of Duty on season 1, now I can't transfer it to season 2. Like, that's not fair. So stay tuned on that. We're working on the interoperability between the mechanics behind those contracts.
So there you go, a couple of insights from the horse's mouth about Gallant Studios and what they're all about. Now that's just part one. We've got more of that interview to show you. I just didn't want to make this video epically long, so jump across, well, I hope if it's uploaded by now, hopefully it is, jump across and check out part 2, and you can learn a little bit more about King's Calling, which I think is going to be the one that really puts these guys on the map. I'm Chris Stead from Finder. Catch you in a tick.